Yo guys, welcome to The Last Lap. Don't forget to drop a lovely, juicy 5-star rating if you're watching on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Hope you enjoy, and let's get into it. How much are we looking, like, what does this cost? Not necessarily to you, but if someone wanted to purchase a helmet to this specification, custom painted.
Yeah. He's asking for his karting career. It's about to start, basically, yeah.
I'm asking, if I can get a tax write-off, then, you know, might have to entertain.
Pure expenses, lap.
Exactly.
Physical profit.
Yeah, mate, I'm sure HMRC won't mind.
But yes, a lot of it's, the helmet ones have got slightly different prices. So these ABP range ones, top of the line carbon ones, like the Bell one, I think it's $4,500 for just the helmet. Like the Arrow one's about $4,000, the Stilo is about $4,000, the Schubert is about $5,000. And then once you cancel in, like the accessories, and that these are prototype, but like most of the spoilers will be like say 80 to 100 quid, depending on what you get. The visors itself like 140 plus. I think the F1 one's slightly different because they're heated. Like you don't often get to buy the heated ones off the shelf. And then so you got other bits where you can a different color interior on the Bell. You can pre-order it, and I think that's like a couple of $100 for that. But yes, it can be anywhere. So like we normally say if it's like a full carbon like this, if you're going to go for helmet plus like main accessories like visor, spoiler, and paintwork, it's like you're looking like $6,000.
It's not cheap. So the fact that some drivers don't really change their helmets up that often, others do.
Yeah.
Is that just a choice that they make and they just swallow the cost themselves, or is a lot of that covered by sponsors? Or
honestly, couldn't tell you. No idea. Never asked that far in.
They just come to you with
it's been I always feel like if I ask, it's quite rude. It's like they sort it out. I worry about what I can do. So I'll worry about the color inside of it, and they can sort the rest out.
Your 27th helmet of the season. Are you sure you can afford?
It's always a talking point. That's what I mean. It's always a talking point though. Whenever a driver brings a unique helmet, especially when it's got like specifically, like, has there been one that you've particularly enjoyed working on, or you've just felt as, you know, a helmet that you've just like thought, oh, we absolutely nailed that, you know?
In F1, you'd probably say the Miami one was that one. But I think one of my favorites like before F1, it was Lando's 2018 Carlin one. It was chrome and had all the pictures like his career so far of him. That one, that really, really good. It's one that we've been pushing, play with the idea for a while, and when we did it, it was quite cool to see, because you see on that it was like pictures of all the helmets that we've done for him and all the cars and everything up to that point on one helmet before he went to F1, which was really cool, quite sentimental. Really do like that one. That's in Carlin now, I think, in the factory somewhere. I think Trevor Stett's little boy runs around with it on all the time.
And then obviously going into 2023, you've got all of these clients, you've got all of this work going on in the back end. What other series, like outside of F1, you know, in the junior formulas, outside, which other drivers maybe of note that people might have heard of are you painting for this year, or designing for this year?
Designing for, yeah. So IndyCar, we do Pato Awards, and Devlin Francesco. Like I think one of our, actually the second favorite special we did last year was probably Pato's Indy one. I don't know if you saw it. It was chrome. It was a 3D chrome with the bricks going around it. And then it was basically how much fancy stuff can we stick on one lid for like a one-off special occasion. And to be fair, it did look the absolute danglies. It really, really good. I felt so sorry for the painter because he had so little time to do it. Shout out for Tyler at Senseport for smashing that one, because that was a really good one. They say we're doing Devlin DeFrancesco's, also in IndyCar. We're doing a few that are going in Indy next, like Jimmy Chadwick's, we've done hers.
Nice.
And then we've got Louis Foster's. He always gives something unique. Like he did the Miami thing before Miami was on the calendar. Yeah. This is one of those, when a few people sent him comments, I felt sorry for him, blessing. They're saying like, oh, you got a Miami helmet because the Grand Prix is like, no, he literally had this in 2020. So we actually jumped the curve on that one. So we're doing for him there. And F2 and F3, so we do all Correa stuff in F2. We do like bits for Carlin liveries in F2. We do, I'm trying to lose count of people in F3. We've done Ollie Gray, Zach O'Sullivan's. I need to look at my list. There's quite a few in F3.
It's a good problem to have. It's got so many clients. I just can't even.
I don't mean that, I'm joking.
That must be pretty cool though. Like, especially, you know, seeing a helmet you've designed win a race in Formula One, not even just in Formula One, seeing junior Formula wins and all that. That must be pretty special for you because, you know, I guess the teams themselves now have so much control over the car livery, and it's like the helmet, since the limit was lifted by the FIA, so drivers are allowed to have as many different helmet designs as they want. That's kind of a nice way of the drivers being able to express themselves, but also you're involved in that process as well.
Exactly, yeah. It's really the one piece they can customize, you can be involved and do it from there. But the main bit about the job that's been like probably like the biggest impact is a lot of the the clients that we've got, like even like now in F3 and that, a lot of them we've basically like worked with some car, and that's the one that's been really rewarding. Like personally, like George and Alex, especially, not just George and Lando, sorry, that we've done them since karting, and we've known them since they were literally like this big.
Yeah.
Like, I've known Lando
quite literally.
Oh, literally, Lando when he was in RL and RFM, he was literally like 4'8", bless him. He was so small. And then you've seen that, oh, he's my size now. And you remember doing his stuff all that time. And same with George, we soon went to F4, we've done all the stuff from there. We only did Alex's from, say, like F1 aspect. But when you see a lot of them go up from karting when they've been like in like 8 years old in cadets, some in the junior categories, and they're going up through the ladder, it's always really cool to see like they've actually like, they've stuck with you through that time as well. And then you see them go up and up, like, having success. That's the most rewarding thing for me.
Yeah, because when you first met them and first started working with them, did you, because obviously I'm sure you work with a lot of, you know, youngsters in karts, did they really stand out as being like, oh, I actually think these two might get to F1? Obviously, it's easy to say in hindsight.
Put an extra hour into the helmet design.
Yeah.
This one might actually make
this kid's special.
There's always a few you see, especially in karting, and like, you know, that kid is absolutely shit hot. He's really, really good. He or she. They're really, really good. And then there's a few of them you see, like, it then depends on like kind of like the break you get in single seaters. Like the first 2 years of single seaters can easily break or make your career. Depending on what avenue you go by.
Yeah.
But like, so a lot of them, it's like you'll see like a few of them will be like, even if they go the GT route, you can still always have like, success from there. Like Jake Dennis, I think, was like the first, like, in terms of ones like the big name clients. I think he was our second ever client when I first started doing it properly. And he's obviously in Formula E, like fighting for the championship in there now. So like Ollie Rowland's again doing the same. So it's one of those, you see him in car, I think that guy, he's good. This is always good to get on board, and you see him go into F4. It's when you get to the stage where you see how they progress from there, it's always really interesting.
Yeah.
Because they're so dependent on if they get in a management team, if they get in a program, or just how genuinely well they do adapt into it. Some are slow burners. Some will come in there, swear and smack, like Lando went bang, 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 up to F2. Whilst George's was a bit like he won F4 and then had the 2 seasons not been, basically went in Premier, you weren't going to win at that point in F3.
Yeah.
And then she went in the ART, went bang, bang from there.
Yeah.
Some of them can just do that. Some of them will be like steady burner, and you'll see they'll have a year, then smash it, or a year or two, then smash it.
Yeah, there's no one route. There's certain drivers like George, like Matt Scholl.
Yeah, Max.
Who like win everything, like, you know, dominate through, but that's not the only
exactly.
route to market.
Exactly. I think a lot of it's been kind of, because Max was such an exceptional case, it's kind of shifted the perspective to put a lot of pressure actually on the drivers coming up. And like the sponsors to think, oh, has he won this? No, they're not interested. I think it's in a way that you'll find more of the gems, but it makes a lot of pressure on the young drivers. I don't envy them at all. I think if I was that age, I don't think I'd be able to mentally cope with it.
Well, I feel like it's shifted, like how old is kind of acceptable for a rookie to be. Like, like when Lewis started, I think he was 22, I think in his first year, maybe 23.
Oh, yeah. Like drivers are just getting younger and younger.
Which, if you had a debut rookie season at 22, 23, but now you'd be like, oh, they're old.
That's why it's like useless. I always see people compare like Max and Lewis's careers based off the age that they were when they did certain things. But like Max was in F1 like 4 years earlier. Like it's completely shifted.
It's like Max's career is like, no one's ever had a career like that. Literally, he did KF karting, and went gearbox karting, won the world title, went straight in F3 cars. Like you wouldn't be able to do that now. It just would not happen.
No, they wouldn't allow it.
But it's the case where you saw the kid was clearly special.
Yeah.
So you managed to make it work from that, and then they changed it, all stopped happening because it obviously made controversy. But you had the same like when Kimi Räikkönen came into F1.
We did. I
literally just did Formula Renault, and then all right, then it's a 900 horsepower F1 car. See you later. See how you get on.
Wild.
And that was like the ultimate sink or swim. Like throw him in the deep end, see what he does, and it paid off.
Yeah.
But again, then there was controversy over that. So I think the thing a lot of it is, without sounding cynical, I think the FIA trying to purposely put everyone through the process there to come up through there.
They want to keep everyone in that pool, don't they?
Exactly. They want to keep it in that pool. It's like that economically for all the teams, it's good. And that aspect, because all the teams survived on that. And then it filters all out through there. Even though if you're like, say, a driver trying to fund it by yourself, it's like almost impossible to do it. You have to have like backing or be on a team to get through it. Because like the cost, you'll see the cost to like do F2 and F3 is like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. And I guess it's like, you know, in this day and age, it's difficult now because drivers do often change their helmets so often. You look at, say, Sebastian Vettel, and he kept that, you know, German flag stripe across the top of his helmet, which kept it consistent. Like, how do you see this going forward? Because, you know, you think of, a Senna helmet is very iconic. You know that color palette. because helmets are changing so often, do you think there's not going to be that same going forward because, you know, there's a different helmet every race? How do drivers keep that legacy? The only example I can think is maybe Lando, because he does have that kind of template that gets used for most designs anyway. But even then, not every design. So how will drivers, you know, will there be memorable helmets in like 20 years time from this generation? Or do you think that those days are kind of gone?
It kind of depends what the driver wants to do with it, really. I mean, we've had this conversation actually like with Lando, which is why the last 2 years he's had like a few less specials, where it's been like fundamentally the main helmet. Like certain races he might do a twist, and like Mexico, he tends to fill it in with certain bits and stuff like that. But keeping that core template, because we can realistically, I think we can make that a modern classic. Like the steps we've done like this, you have to like tone it down a bit, but still honestly, bright yellow, Lando's helmet, you see him a mile off. Almost the same way how Senna's works, even if it is literally Senna's was basically just 3 stripes. Because it was yellow and bold, you know who it was. And like Mick Hacken's is basically the same design, but it's the finish color. So again, you recognize it straight away. So it depends a lot what the driver does. If they want to keep like the same template, if they want each special and modify it, or do completely different ones to then make their own helmet stand out when it is being used. It's just personal preference, but a lot of the time, a lot of them get more intricate because they care more about details in it rather than simple block colors, which in some aspects is a shame. I know a lot of the more like traditional long fans probably get bored of saying like, oh, it's too like detailed and busy on that. But at the end of the day, it's the customer's choice, and you just have to reflect on that. So, but yeah, I think you will still get some instantly recognizable ones if they keep to like their template and palette. Oh, because Max has probably got one as well. I mean, he's kept with white, and he's just basically changed the colors of the shapes coming off it. So with Lando's the same sort of thing. It's just going to be driver preference, and then if you're doing well in a helmet and you keep it the same, it's going to be iconic. That's kind of like as simple as it is. That's why I kind of wish it was kept with the black and purple, honestly, really.
Same. I was literally just thinking of the Lewis purple.
Because like his yellow helmet, it pops out so well. There's that picture that you've seen on Twitter in the Merc with the yellow number, the yellow helmet. It pops so well. But it's like saying, you think of that and say, oh, we can have a helmet that always pops out. But it's like, then how do you link that with the drivers from his career if they've changed it quite a lot? As I think if he honestly, if he'd have kept with his black and purple and then maybe yellow outlined it, I thought that'd have been absolute chef's kiss, but it's personal preference.
Yeah, because he does still have a bit of purple in his helmet, I think.